Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Good morning, good morning. I, for the life of me, can't figure out why I can't go live on Facebook. And I have not had my coffee yet, and I'm a little too tired to figure it out. So we're just live on Instagram this morning. I will record it and make sure that it gets loaded up to Facebook. So if you're watching this later and you missed me this morning because I wasn't there, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. And no one's awake to help me right now. And yeah, so that's okay. We're going to roll with it. No big deal. So good morning to you guys. I'm so excited that you're joining me. A lot of times in the summer, I've said this before, people just kind of drop off. And if you're showing up right now, that's a big deal. So thanks for joining. And today we're going to kind of continue on our series on the basics in building doTERRA. And this is our third week sort of to cover these things. But one of the things that I wanted to just kind of explain is I'm kind of going through the Empowered Success acronym of PIPES, the prepare, invite, present, enroll, and then support. Because I feel like there's so many really helpful and key basics in that acronym that flow within any system. Now, I don't use the Empowered Success tools because we use Live Naturally tools, but our tools fit right in with that acronym, and I think it's important that we speak the same language and that we remember the sales cycle is very much the same and it's still relevant. So that's kind of where I am coming from with that. But that being said, even though it's week 3, we're going to be talking about presenting. I'm going to be talking to you about our Live Naturally tools handout. Because that is the whole reason this whole business came about, was the fact that I couldn't find a handout that had great flow. It was tricky for me to find a handout that resonated with the way I wanted to communicate to people. And so I would jump around in handouts. I would tell customers, skip that page, move to the next page. And things like that didn't feel very genuine to me when I was teaching. It kind of felt a little bit unprofessional at the time. Now, this was, 5 years ago. But it still bothered me enough that I would keep saying, I think we should create a handout. I think we should create a handout. Now, this is a ton more effort and work than I ever bargained for. However, I don't regret it because we really needed a handout that had flow to it. And I can't tell you how many times I'll get a message from one of you that says, I just started using Live Naturally handouts again or for the first time, and I love the way that I teach. This has changed everything. And so that gives us a ton of encouragement, and we'll keep doing what we're doing. And just so you guys know, we do have a teaching sheet of the top 10 oils and a couple key kits, a very basic teaching sheet and a ton of languages. If you go on to livenaturallytools.com, you'll see them in we have French Canadian, we have Spanish for the US market, we have a bunch of different European ones, we have New Zealand, we have Brazil on there. So check those out, because if you have builders or connections at all in other places, it's really helpful to have them print off the same or similar tool that you use, okay? So that being said, let me talk to you about the presentation. First of all, I still think that teaching classes is the best way to share doTERRA with somebody and to be very thorough with your care for them. Sometimes I teach online. Most of the time I teach in public or like a group gathering. Sometimes I teach in my home and sometimes I teach in other people's homes. So there's not one way that I do this the same all the time. I do it in a lot of different places with a lot of different people. And that, I think, is why our business continues to grow, though, is because we haven't locked into one thing and said, this is the only way we do it, or this is the only way that works. We're open to a lot of things, okay? So I change it up a lot. I've been doing workout classes lately, and I'll hit on those today too, because I know I've gotten a lot of questions about that. But all in all, no matter where I teach or what I do, the number one thing that matters is your confidence, no matter what piece of paper you use. If you don't use any paper, nothing matters as much as confidence. So whatever tool you're teaching from is going to thrive or make you look great because of your confidence, or it can also make you look not so good because of your lack of confidence. So if you're unhappy with the tools that you're teaching from and you haven't tried Live Naturally yet, dive into that and try that. And I do have a tutorial on every single, like, the flow of our class handout as well that you can follow along in a video. So anyway, it matters, and it's not just like your confidence when you're like, essential oils can be used 3 ways. It's not your confidence necessarily just in that, but it's your confidence in how you interact with people. So when people are coming into your classes, into your homes, if you're teaching at someone else's house and their friends are walking in, the best thing that you can do, honestly, is show up with energy and joy and excitement and be interested in them. And this is tricky if you are not naturally a people person, or, you know, you have some social anxiety, but the truth is I think we all do. And some of us just hide it better than others. So one of the things that I do right away when I'm hosting a class or with other people is I determine that I'm going to get over the social anxiety, and I'm going to be the first person to step out, because it's up to me how people feel at this event. And so I take a lot of ownership for how other people feel. And so when they walk into like a public class to register or in a home, I am like, "Hi, I'm Dana. I'm so glad you're here. What's your name?" And they'll say, you know, whatever their name is. And I'm like, "Oh, it's awesome. I'm glad you're here. Have you ever used essential oils before?" And, you know, they'll say yes or no or kind of whatever. And I'm like, "Totally. This is going to be so much fun. There's water over there," or whatever. Like, I just kind of direct them in the most casual, comfortable way, as if I was just hosting a party. Because the truth is, that's what I want them to feel like. I want them to feel like they came to something, that they engaged, that they built community, and they had fun. And that's kind of what a party is. And so I'm just like, just kind of running the show really casually. I'm not like digging into deep information yet, but it's really just me breaking the ice with that person. And when you do that, it's not so much that they are seeing your confidence, but their own, like, where am I? What am I doing here? Do I know anyone here? That starts to break down because you make them feel comfortable. And then they start to think, "Oh, at least I have one person I can connect with. She was so friendly. She made me feel comfortable." It's just an exchange that works for everybody, okay? It's going to help you. You're going to feel like, "Oh, I'm a star. I'm flowing in conversation. This is easy." And they're going to feel like, "Oh, she gets me. This is really tricky to come to places where you don't know people." And that's going to change everything. So I always do that. I also shake their hand. "Hey, it's great to meet you. I don't think we've met before." But don't shake their hand like a floppy little fish, okay? That is my biggest pet peeve in the whole world. Shake their hand like you're like, "Hi, I'm Dana, and I'm actually happy to meet you." It's like when someone gives you a hug and they're just kind of like, you know, like that, and you're kind of like, what's wrong with me? Do I smell? Why aren't you hugging me? You know, like, give somebody a real hug. It's the same thing. Give them a real handshake or hug if you're a hugger, and do it real. Don't do it halfway, because then you kind of feel this, like, I've got this halfway energy happening, you know, and it's like, what's wrong? Or why won't you shake my hand? And there's nothing worse to me than a limp handshake. And honestly, a note to anyone who's a massage therapist, there is nothing worse than when your massage therapist comes to the spa and says, "Mrs. Moore, time for your treatment," or whatever, and they shake your hand like this, and all I think is, "Oh, this is going to be the worst massage," because they don't have a strong hand. Anyway, I digress. Okay, let's talk about our class, okay? So the first thing that we have you do in your class is talk about your story. And this is so that you can establish some form of trust with the people in your audience. You really, really want to tell them why you're using doTERRA and why you love it. Now, this is not a chance to go through your health history, but it's a chance for you to share why you're passionate about this. And I always share that I'm passionate about health, that I find that I truly believe that we can change the health of our country, and that I'm the best person to help them do that. And so I kind of share a little bit of my story, but I mostly have a lot of confidence in saying, like, you're in the right place. The best time to start taking care of yourself is now. We're going to go through some simple things to help you. And I go into it. So my story takes me maybe 2 minutes at tops. So it's not a lot about me. I want it to be more about them, but that's how I get the ball rolling. So, hey, I haven't met a lot of you. We're going to dive in. I want to tell you a little bit about me so that you know where I'm coming from and why I'm so in love with essential oils and why I believe that they are one of the answers for the health of our country and that every person needs them in their home. And if I say something like that, that's pretty confident. That's a pretty brassy thing to say. But usually people are like, okay, like we need these in our home. Or if they have them in their home and they're customers, they're sitting there shaking their head, because they feel so confident that they've made a great decision. Then we talk through why essential oils. So why essential oils? Why do I think they're the best thing you can have in your home? It's because nature produces them, the body can utilize them, they're super cost effective, and there's a ton of side benefits. And I can expound on those if I want to, it just depends on how long the class is going to be. And then I say, I'm so curious to know, what are you hoping to learn from this class? Like, there's a reason you showed up today. Write it down. I want to know what it is. I want to know what you're curious about. And I want to make sure I answer your questions. And then at that moment, I've talked, so I take my water and I just drink it. And I kind of pause and give them a moment to think, because when you keep talking, what happens is you're displaying nervous energy and you're trying to fill in the gap of the awkward silence. And if you can press into that, if you can press into the awkward silence for just a minute and give them a minute, they realize, man, not only is she really friendly, but she's so confident she can just stand there in silence for 30 seconds. And they might not think that consciously, but subconsciously they're thinking that, and that's a big deal, okay? So take a minute, take that as your chance to drink your water, and then say, tell me what you're curious about. I'd love to know. And just wait. And somebody will be like, safety? And you're like, great, we're going to cover that. That's a great thing to be curious about. Yep. And then they'll say something else, and a couple people will chime in. Once you validate the first person that responds, everyone else will chime in. Now, if you're in a one-on-one, people will just start talking a lot easier. It's in a group that people feel nervous to open their mouth more. So either way, this works, okay? And then you're going to dive into what essential oils are and how to use them, okay? So you want to talk about what essential oils are. Let's just break down exactly what they are, and then let's talk about how to use them and how to use them safely. So you're going to go through your 3 uses. That part is a part of every class that you've ever taught before, so it's no big deal. But again, just do it with confidence, okay? When I talk about internal use specifically, I do it with so much confidence. I'm like, this is the way that this is what sets doTERRA apart, is that you can actually use our oils internally because they are so pure, and we do third-party test them with very rigorous testing. And you can enjoy a couple drops in water, in your veggie caps, or under your tongue. And we do this to support our body on an internal level. We do it to support our digestive system. We do it as a really quick pathway to our bloodstream. It's incredible, but you can only use oils that are labeled for internal use. That's what I say, because in the US we have the supplement facts on them. But you only want to use oils that are recommended for internal use by the manufacturer for this purpose. And that to them actually kind of flips a switch in their mind. And I've seen it happen. It's because they may have experienced oils before at TJ Maxx, and they may have experienced other things, and then they'll look at the label and it says, toxic, keep out of reach of children, for external use only, not for internal use. And and I always say, trust the label of the company that made that oil. If they're telling you not to use it internally, don't use it internally. You've got to trust your labels, which is why I love that ours have a supplement fact on them. Okay. All right. The next thing you're going to go into is potency and effectiveness. So this first page is very, very simple. Okay. And it flows really, really nicely, and it takes about 15 minutes. And this sets a foundation for the next chunk of everything. But you get to go over peppermint oil with potency and give them a peppermint experience. And then you're going to go over On Guard with effectiveness and talk about how oils work on a cellular level, how they can pass through a cell membrane and actually help our bodies to fight off viruses and bacteria. Nope, that's not compliant, but you can say that in a class when it's just you and people, okay? It's okay to do that. Don't speak in code. Speak honestly and speak truly from the heart. And I'm not saying like in a 60 mile per hour zone, go 110. I'm saying you can go like 65, okay? And all that to say, you're done with 2 oils now. You've presented 2 oils. You've given them a thorough overview, and they're ready to dive into more oils. So then you open the page and you'll say, let's dive into some more oils. So if you want to see our handout if you've never dove into it before, you can download it on our website on livenaturallytools.com. But the next thing we go right into is more oils. So you're like, okay, let's dive in and play with more oils. And you're just getting them playing with the oils. You can go through the top 10. They're on our list. You can do the popular extras. We added Balance, Aromatouch, Serenity, and Wild Orange at the bottom. When we reprint, probably after convention, we might put Copaiba in there instead because that's such a popular add-on. It's such a popular extra. But anyway, you're just going to go through oils, and you might not go through all of them. It might not make sense for you, and you might. But either way, I say only talk about 2 to 3 things with each oil, and do things that matter a lot, okay? That would like trigger, like, everybody deals with this. So for example, if your cousin has a rare disease that 1 in 10 people have in the world and they use frankincense for it, amazing, but not necessarily relevant to the crowd. But everybody wants younger looking skin. Everyone wants healthy cells, whether they know it or not. And so just make sure that you're hitting on topics that are like, hot button topics that make sense to people and not some rare thing that only you know about, okay? And then you're going to talk about what is best for us is best for the world. So we have the need for the higher standard, the testing that doTERRA does, and compact sourcing. That's it. So that whole thing takes me 30 minutes. And it's actually extremely important in your presentation that you're not going too long. Of course, you could talk for hours about essential oils. Of course you could. We all could. We love essential oils, and we could go on and on all day. But if I'm a first-time learner and my brain is just grasping the concept that these beautiful bottles come from the trees and the plants and the barks and the flowers of plants in nature. I think I said plants twice. But if they come from these things and they can be used for my body and they work in my cells, like, my mind is like, okay? And I totally remember feeling this at my first class, like, wow, this is amazing. And I only grasped a couple key concepts. I wouldn't have grasped everything anyway. So don't talk too much in your class. It's a big mistake. Okay. After that, you can go through the foundations of a healthy lifestyle, and you can go through, which is right here, Lifelong Vitality, which I highly recommend going through because it's so foundational for our health. But one of the things I'd love to talk about is the healthy lifestyle pyramid. And in fact, my online class last night, what I did was actually start with the foundations of a healthy lifestyle because it was just, I advertised it as a casual chat about essential oils. And so I didn't want it to be as rigorous as a normal class that I teach. I started there, but I wanted to establish that we all need to work on eating right. We all need to work on different things, and that we have products to match that. So when you are talking about this, if you ever talk about the lifestyle pyramid, and it's always on our top 10 oil tear pads too that you can download, I just make sure that I hit on it. And I said, listen, it's important that you identify where you're at on this pyramid, because wherever you identify at is where you should start with when it comes to essential oils in your home or supplements and other products, depending on what your first top goal is. So I'm going to break it down for you because I want you to know that you have the, the power to decide which area of health you start to improve first. And so I'm kind of establishing there when I talk to them like that they are going to start with doTERRA, that they do need doTERRA in their home, but they have a choice of which path they kind of take for that. And so I'll say, the first thing is eating right, and I'll go through that the foundation of all of our health is our food, but we have our supplement system that helps us with that because we don't get enough nutrients and minerals in our food today, even if we eat as clean as possible. Most of us aren't eating 100% from our own land, and I'll kind of go into that. And so then I go into the Lifelong Vitality system. So those of you that aren't eating as good as you could be or would love to improve in this area, the first thing you should start with is Lifelong Vitality, which you see right there on the right. And I want to break this down for you, okay? And then you'll talk about Lifelong Vitality, which I'm not going to teach you about, but you guys got it. And then I'll say exercise and weight management is another key component that a lot of people need to focus on. And maybe you're eating good, but you're not moving your body enough. And for that, I would recommend that you get started with like our athletes kit, a kit that is like geared to help you get moving, to support your body as you move it in new ways, and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to do with them is really match products with each of the Healthy Lifestyle. Now, they don't know what the athlete's kit is, and that's okay, but they heard me say it. And so when I'm closing them out later and saying, okay, what kit stood out to you? And you're like, you mentioned like an athlete's kit, and I really feel like I need to move my body more. Like, yeah, let's talk about that, okay? And then we have rest and managing stress, and I'll talk about the importance of sleep. And I'll say most people that are in this category of needing to really work on rest and managing stress start with a basic kit and add on Serenity and Copaiba soft gels, because that's one of the key things that's going to help you to sleep. But also, you can talk through maybe the emotional aromatherapy kit if you want to. You can talk through a few different ideas. I don't actually go into specific products here. I want to be very clear on that, though. I kind of mention them. But what I say is, if this is you, if you identify that this is your key area, after you pick your starter kit, I'll give you the exact, a couple key things that you're going to need and want to get started in this area. So what I want to do is just enroll them. That's the whole goal. I want to enroll them, and I want to enroll them with something that actually hits a pain point for them right away. And then I'll talk about reducing toxic load. Or like maybe, I know some of you said you were here because you want to learn about green cleaning. That's awesome. I still recommend always getting your basic medicine cabinet in your home started, because you can use so many of those products to clean with. But I also have, we have a cleaning concentrate I would highly recommend, and a few other things, because that our environments are, super important. And isn't it crazy that we see people diagnosed with things like lung cancer that have never smoked? And that has a lot to do with the environment and the toxins and the chemicals that we're breathing in. So this is an awesome area of focus if that is you. And what I'm doing through here is I'm validating the 4 parts of the Healthy Lifestyle pyramid. And I'm also saying, like, if this is you, there are key products you need to have. So this does a couple things. It actually helps them to have some ownership in the solution to their problem. It also helps them to, once they pick a kit, and I usually just sell them a kit, to pick on some add-ons that touch that pain point, and they are ready to rock and roll because they're focusing on one thing, okay? Not everyone I enrolls with a kit, but I do try. I'm very like this is where you want to start. However, sometimes kits are overwhelming to people, and that's okay. I'll enroll people with $35 and do an add-on. That type of thing, get them all set up. So I'm always pushing it to be over 100 for obvious reasons, but I just want them to get started with doTERRA, okay? The next thing you're going to do is go through your kits, and we don't feature all of our kits. And the reason we don't feature all of our kits is because it's consumer overwhelm. Like, think about the last time you went to the store to pick out Post-its or something, or a journal, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's 1,000 options and it's overwhelming, and I know I need it. I mean, I came for it, but now that I'm here, I don't even know where to begin. If you feel that way about Post-it notes, think of how they feel about kits. And so less is more in this situation. But what I do is I print a kit sheet, which we also have a free download for on our website, but I print it, I have it laminated, and I take it just in case something that they see isn't grabbing them. What I want to do is give them a couple more options that I say, you know what, I was thinking about you, and this kit is what I would recommend if I were you. And if you say things like that, you guys, again, we're going straight back to confidence. It's confidence for them, okay? So you have confidence that that's the right thing for them. Now, obviously, we're not even talking about money yet. We're not talking about anything, but you're like, this is the kit that I would get if I were you. And if they're like, oh, yeah, it'd be nice, but can't afford it, then you can say, that's okay. You can always slowly build up your collection. Then which kit do you feel comfortable starting with? Because the most important thing is that you get started and let them pick, okay? And then we include a simple enrollment form. This is so helpful because what it does for people is helps them to be like, okay, I want that, and I put down my information instead of a form that makes them feel like they're buying a house, okay, or they're signing their children away for adoption. Like, it's too much, and when you want them to enroll on the spot, you have to make it simple. So this is one of the key features of our handout that honestly is probably one of people's favorite things. And then you move on, you have a price list in there. No big deal, nothing fancy. And then a little bit about the loyalty program, hosting a class, building a business, and things like that. So I don't actually go through all of that during class. I get them enrolled, and then we move on. Because what I'm inviting them back to the second time is either I Have Oils Now What, a membership consult, a one-on-one, a personal, I'll show you, we'll get together, I'll show you what to do with your oils. Let's connect, that type of a thing. That's what I'm inviting them to, okay? And there's information on the back as well. So you can actually, when you meet with them the second time, go through this, okay? We have a separate wellness or a membership consult you can use, awesome. But you don't have to. You could actually just go through this part right here and use that and that alone, okay? I'm all about simplicity. I'm all about doing things the easy way. So when it comes to hosting, my main thing I want to leave you with, I wanted to feature a few things here so that you understand the handout, but the main things that I want you to take away are just having confidence, talk less is more, and make sure that you're going through this in a way that you can pick up on the flow and the transitions, and that you're going to close the sale in all of your words. So a lot of times I'll close them in my language throughout the whole thing. Okay. Sorry, I'm tired. I haven't had coffee yet. That being said, I want to tell you about one other presentation idea that I do. So I'll tell you that most of the time when I teach, I use this handout, this specific handout. I like this handout. I like having the packet there. I don't like having a lot of add-ons or extra things. I love it. It's clean and simple. So 99% of the time I'm using the handout. Lately this summer, we've been doing essential oils plus workout classes. And we've been inviting people to work out. Come work out with us. We've printed flyers. We printed invitations. We put it on the Nextdoor app. We've used a lot of our technology to help advertise. Come work out with us here or there. Sometimes it's been in gyms. Sometimes it's been in public parks. Come and see what we're doing. It's a workout plus essential oils. You'll leave with sweat and samples. Sometimes we've done it on a Friday night. So we've been like, let's unwind your week. And as soon as we started stretching last Friday night for this class, people were like, oh, this feels amazing after a long week. So Friday night was an awesome class to have that and to host that publicly. Whereas most people aren't going to come to like a sit down class on a Friday night, but they will come to a workout. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening was also a good success. And we did like a jumpstart your week, workout with essential oils. Now, all that to say, I love to work out. I love to move my body. I'm not leading these workouts. I am actually strategically partnering with different trainers, people on my team that have a lot of fitness experience, and they are leading the people in a very simple like circuit, body weight, exercise, warm up, cool down, okay? I am giving everyone a drop of Breathe as the class starts. I have a peppermint spray that I'm spraying them as it gets hot, and both of our workouts so far that we've done like this have been blazing. One was just outside and humid, so we were all sweating, and one was in a gym and the air conditioner happened to go out, so everyone was sweating like crazy. I'm also there to kind of give a breakdown of the oils afterwards. So what I do when they come in, I'm going to actually show you something, so hold on one second. It just helps for you to see it all. They come in and this says, yes, text me. And I say, hey, if you want to know about our next workout, if we do this again, because it's a complimentary workout, sign up and we'll text you and let you know about it. So I get their information because we want to keep like building some momentum in the community there. And then I have the athletes kit. This is really important. You have this and Copaiba. And that's what I teach on. And the reason it's this plus Copaiba is because it's exactly 100 PV enrollment with $35. And this is 100 PV. And I want to go through just 5 plus 1. So 6 oils and the deep blue rub with them. And that's all I teach about. So that makes it very, very easy. Inside the athlete's kit comes this incredible little teeny, super simple trifold. I just copied it. I just put it in my Xeroxer, do we say that anymore? I just scanned it and copied it on my copy machine and used this as their handout that they could take home with them. So again, nothing fancy, but everyone was like, oh, this is so helpful, okay? And then everyone left with a little organza bag. And in there is Deep Blue Rub, a piece of Slim and Sassy gum, and my card. Okay? So that's it. Nothing too exciting. But we opened it up. We gave him a drop of Breathe, encouraged him to breathe it in, started with some breathing workout, warm-ups or whatever. And then I said, I have this peppermint spray. It'll help cool you down. I'll walk around often and spray the back of your neck in between circuits. Or if you ever just feel like you're getting hot and you're kind of uncomfortable, just grab it yourself. So I had that. And they would spray themselves with that. And we went through the whole workout. I worked out with them. I wasn't just watching people work out, but I just did the workout with everybody. And then afterwards, whoever I partnered with would cool them down, stretch out or whatever. And then I would just jump up confidently and be like, okay, before we go, I'm going to explain, some of the oils that we used already and some of the ones that you can continue to use to support your workout. I only talk about moving your body, and I'll say things like, a lot of times we get started with a workout routine, but we get too sore, and then it's hard to want to show up again. It's hard to want to come back. And so we really want to set you up for success so that moving your body becomes a habit that you actually love rather than something that you dread. We want to give you the tools that you need. And I'll go through each of the 5 oils and the Copaiba, and I teach them key things. For this, I put On Guard and Melaleuca in a spray, and I'll spray my shoes, my mats, different things. I'll be everybody spray down your shoes, your mats, any equipment that we touched. Usually it's just their hands if we're outside, but that way they see oh, it's so easy to make something. But I'll pass around in the circle because we're usually sitting on the ground. On Guard, I'm guys, rub this through your hands, because this is an oil that's going to help keep your immune system strong. And you guys know if you get sick, it usually will wreck you for a couple of weeks from getting back into the habit of a workout. And so we want to keep your immune system strong. Also, when you touch other equipment, you're on mats and different things, there's so much sweat and germs and bacteria that it's just a great way to clean your hands afterwards and keep you healthy. And so you can use it just like a hand sanitizer, use a drop, or I put it in a spray and spray my shoes, my mat, other things. And they're oh, yeah. So super easy concept, because at a gym, or when you're working out, you're always spraying stuff down. But we want to spray it down in a green manner. So that is helpful. Obviously, I talk about peppermint being invigorating, oxygenating, helps with inflammation and pain. And we'll pass that around. I tell them to put a drop on the back of their neck, which is immediately cooling and really nice at the end of a workout. So they're getting instant results and experiences with these oils. We talk about lavender, how it's awesome for rest, and how that's a key component in showing up to move your body every day is actually getting the proper sleep, because the number one thing that people will make the excuse of is, oh, I can't make it, I didn't sleep good. And so we want to eliminate those excuses. So we want them to be sleeping good so that they show up to the gym. I talk about Melaleuca as a germ killer, athlete's foot, fungus, stuff like that. And then what else is in here? I think that's it. And then I talk about Copaiba because CBD is such a insane craze, and I don't just credit that or discount that at all, but I say if you want an option that will help you with pain, discomfort, this is incredible. This is great. I've used it for headaches, hormone headaches. And I love this option, especially for someone who wants to move their body more and has felt like the discomfort in their body is what holds them back. This is going to be great. Or maybe you have anxiety about showing up for things. This is also going to be great for you. And I highly recommend you add this on. And I just kind of give it the shout out that it deserves without discrediting CBD. I don't think that's an argument worth having. I don't actually hate CBD at all. I just think it's a fad that's going to hit and kind of simmer right on out, truly. But I love, and this is so much more affordable. That's the thing that I would say, encourage you to hit on. It's so much more affordable. So instead of saying why they shouldn't buy something else, just say why they should buy this, okay? And then I give them a squeeze of Deep Blue Rub for their, I usually say, put this on something you know is going to be sore, probably your hamstrings or your knees or your shoulders and your neck. Give them a tiny little pea-size amount of that, and then just say I also included a sample for you, okay? So that class portion of that takes about 10 to 15 minutes max. It's not long at all. If they're current customers, which a lot of them show up and are current customers, I'll say this: you want to order an athlete's kit on your LRP because you're going to be able to throw this in your bag and always have your oils with you rather than having to run around your house and collect the 5 that you need at the gym. So I would make sure that you order this on your LRP. And I say, if you're brand new and you're ready to get started, this is a super economical way to get started and focus on your physical health first and moving your body more and the tools for that. And then what I do, if the link generator is working, is I have a link ready on my phone. I have it saved in my notes. And if they want the link, I just say, I'll text you the link that you can click and enroll. So they're not filling out paperwork there. I don't have an extra form. I don't bring the forms. It's very, very simple. They're coming to sweat. They're not coming for a full essential oil class. What they're coming to do is learn on that level. And so I make sure that we get exactly what they came for. It's not a bait and switch. It's not like they show up to sweat and they, stretch for 20 minutes and then we do oils. They legit work out, and then they're sitting there and they're kind of like, not only are their endorphins high, which they are, but there's a sense of accomplishment. They're in a good mood. They just finished something hard. They're willing to listen. So it's been really successful. And we have, I think, 3 more this month that we're doing. So we're going to do at least, I think, 4 a month here while the weather is good, but then we'll continue it on in gyms indoors too. Outdoors has just been really fun as well. So I wanted to give you that idea on a class presentation, and I want you to think outside the box a little bit. You don't always have to have a class in someone else's home, in their living room, or around their table. You don't always have to have a public class and teach about essential oils and back to school, although that's a great theme. But you can do this in a lot of different ways, and I want to just inspire you, and you can think differently about it. You could do essential oils. We have one coming up, and it's a mini spa morning, so mimosas and spa products, and they're going to make a glow roller. They're going to get to go to each station and experience all the spa products we have, the skincare lines and things like that. And people are showing up to have fun. And so our presentations aren't always so cut and dry. But that's where your confidence comes in, because you can still close people out. You can still help them fall in love with oils and products if you have confidence. And so that is really, really helpful. I saw your question come up. Do most enrollments come from class or follow-ups? It just depends. 50-50. So some people come and they're ready to enroll, and this was the class that they, that triggers that they show up for because they've been invited so many times. They're like, oh, I definitely show up for that, and other people are showing up specifically out of curiosity, and it might take a few more touches, but they've signed up to come back and we'll follow up with them. So it just depends. I would say but for me, one thing I will say, you guys, is when we had a workout class on Friday, and on that one, only doTERRA customers came. We had no new people at that one. But I think there were 7 or 8 women moving their body more than they have before, more inspired to work out and be healthy, wellness advocates, excited about products. There were some things they never tried the gum. And so what that's going to roll into is strong LRPs and people that are more eager to share doTERRA. And so that is incredible for retention. So a lot of the public classes that I do build my retention more than my enrollments. I would say like 80% more it's more for retention than anything else. But our customers come back for bingo, they come back for more learning, they get on their LRP, they come back for community, they come back for support, they come back to work out, they come back because we're fun and they feel special and seen and hugged tightly, in these things, and that's why they come back. And so we keep doing it because it's fun, and it keeps us sharp. And when we do have new people and people are networking, they can totally bring those new people along, and they know they have a class that's going to be fun that they can show up to. So it does matter, and we do have a very kind of a full, vigorous class schedule, because if I meet somebody today, I can say, oh my gosh, come to this class. I have this coming up. I have a spa class coming up. I have a workout class coming up. I'd love to see you come to one of these or both of them. You'd have a ton of fun. You'll learn a lot, and that helps a lot. So, all right, guys, I've talked way too long. I don't even know what time it is, but it is my daughter's 12th birthday today, and I can hear everybody waking up. So we are going to go celebrate her today. But thanks for joining me. This was, again, the basics part 3 on the presentation. Next week, on Tuesday, we'll talk about enrolling. And so I'll break down a little more of how to close and what that looks like and that process too. So kind of just a continuation of more of this stuff, but I wanted to give you some fresh ideas and make sure you really understand our class handout. Again, you can download this on livenaturallytools.com. So if you want to download it and look at it, print it out or whatever, and really kind of get a handle on it, I really encourage you to do that because it's going to help you with your class flow more. And the better you feel about classes, the more you're going to teach them. That's just the truth. Okay. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. Bye.